All right, we are live. So much news and information going around the space right now. Bitcoin looks like it's starting to take off. XRP is starting to go up. Other assets are starting to react to the market. Of course, we have to talk about, or we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the global economy. I'm going to give you some updates around XRP and institutional adoption of crypto. Lots of really good information to go over. Good to see all of you. If you are enjoying the information that I'm about to provide you, the best way that you can help the channel is by liking the content. If you're on Twitter, you can share the space. I'd really appreciate that. Good to see everybody. Let me just say what's up to the chat here. We got Landon here first. What's up, Landon? Good to see you, bud. AK Scarfaces, love the channel, Robert. Appreciate you. Not many people call me Robert these days. Oh, look, Paul V. Paul V has it right here. Paul V says, oh, I bet only his mom calls him Robert. You know, my mom actually calls me Robbie. She's an English lady, and Robbie, things like that. That's what she would call me. Usually, my dad will call me Robert if I've done something wrong. Like, oh, Robert, not again. Like one of those. Try being ADHD in school in the 90s, not the business. Game of Cats, what's up, Game of Cats? Thank you for being a member of the channel. I really appreciate your support. LAX is here. Ariana is here. Energy is here. Man, we got all these really cool people here. Blue Legend. Good to see you, Blue Legend. What's up, man? Svetter6. Nice to see you. Chipper. Good to see you. Abrasive Unit. Good to see you too, my friend. All right. I could say what's up all day long to you guys. We already have 400 people waiting. Let's get into some news and information. I'm so glad you guys could be joining me today. It really is an honor to spend this time with you. Let's go ahead and first, you know what? Before we get into any kind of jazz here, let's go ahead and pull up CoinMarketCap. See what's going on with the market. So let me just make sure you can see what I am seeing. We are beautiful. All right. Bitcoin at 92,000, 93,000 almost. Okay, look at this, up 10%. I'm feeling good about that. Even Ethereum is up 10%. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time to be paying attention. XRP is up 5%. BNB is up 5%. Solana is up 16%. So there's a lot of reasons why this is happening. Partially, it's because, a lot of things happen with depending on what Trump is talking about when it comes to the economy. It does look like maybe tensions are easing up against China. So the markets are reacting to that, as well as Trump said that he's not interested in firing Jerome Powell. That has also led to green markets coming back. Hopefully they're here to stay. But let's get into some of this news and information, and we can better understand what is going ahead and happening. Bloomberg Crypto had this little clip earlier. Bloomberg said Bitcoin is acting like a safe haven. It is decoupled from U.S. tech stocks. Let me go ahead and play this for you.
Good time, trading more like gold just in time
for
gold to rocket higher. You can see that physical Bitcoin gold is up about 9% over the past month in April alone. That has dragged Bitcoin higher, especially in the last couple days. The crypto is up about 6% or so. And take a look at what has happened to tech stocks. In blue, you have the NASDAQ 100 actually lower by 6.5% or so. So Bitcoin may be taking on some safe haven characteristics, at least when it comes to its relationship with gold, Tim.
All right. Let's keep going here. This chart says the largest Bitcoin move in 5 years has begun. Right. We know the M2 money supply, quantitative easing is going to be coming back. Hopefully lower rates will be coming back. This is really going to fuel the market ahead. CNBC just said Bitcoin is obviously decoupled from the NASDAQ. So it's not, there's multiple. Bloomberg is talking about this. CNBC is talking about this. And these are a lot of the, Main Street stock investors are watching these channels. And I think extra money is going into Bitcoin because, people are kind of getting battered right now in the stock market. They're not sure if it's a good time to put in or come out. And so crypto is lining up to have a really good run the rest of the year. And I think people are paying attention to that.
Welcome back. Not a lot of green on the screen today, as you know. However, you probably didn't look at Bitcoin. Janae McKeel did, and she's here. It's up 3%. What do you make of the way that this has been trading? It's decoupled, obviously, from the NASDAQ, which was a trend for a while. How do you see it?
Something that people were looking for all month, because if you go back to earlier this month, it really was trading in line with stocks. It just was not seeing the big, pops and drops that one we're used to seeing out of Bitcoin, and two, it is outperforming the S&P. It has not really caught up with gold, the leading safe haven. But I think you are seeing evidence not just I think that the obvious and easy narrative would be that we're talking about Fed independence today. So Bitcoin is kind of acting as that hedge against, political uncertainty. But I also think that it's not just enthusiasm, it's also exhaustion. You're seeing investors wanting to, get back into risk, but just maybe not the type of risk that's tied to earnings or Fed policy.
You got a quick thought?
I do. Look, you've got a president who's very interested, and his family's very interested in Bitcoin doing well, crypto doing well. And I think you're close to regulation or some positive announcements on policy, and that's what's driving it.
It's evidence, Bitcoin's supportive nature is evidence that we have not had a deleveraging event. Because
all right, let's keep going. I mean, I can play these clips all day. Some of it gets kind of, boring, but all good. M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. Obviously, as more money is created, the dollar is worth less, and things like Bitcoin and gold are starting to go up, which we are seeing. Bloomberg news anchor said that there will be only 21 million Bitcoin. I'm not going to play that, but you can see they're just hammering this home right now, right? Everybody is focused on Bitcoin. $5 billion in liquidation while sitting at around $95,000. That's just for Bitcoin. Altcoin numbers would be a little crazier. If Bitcoin pumps and dominance drops, altcoin season kicks in. If Bitcoin pumps and dominance rises, alts stay sleepy. Eyes on the $95,000 level. You also have this. Every indicator and narrative is pointing towards a huge bull market altcoin season incoming. We'll have to see about that. We did talk about this. Oh, really quickly before I shift into like economy and some other stuff, just want to point out, I had brought this up to Kryptonaires members on Friday. I was coming to live stream, and like maybe 5 or 6 minutes before I was going to live stream, somebody that's been in Kryptonaires, or I can't remember if they're still there or if they were there a long time ago. Anyways, I've known this person for a few years, and they created an AI agent. And, when you're talking about a $30,000 market cap, 2 Solana, you can buy a whole lot of tokens. And so, crypto is about risk, how much risk you're willing to take on. And, if that risk could eventually lead to some pretty big numbers. Obviously, when you're investing in any type of meme coin or AI agent, it's all risk. It's risk on the adoption of that, the mind share of the token, if people are actually going to buy it and hold it. There's so many things and factors that go into it. But I just want to show you what these guys are doing, because I thought, hey, if they are going to be successful, this thing could, probably do a few million at least. Let's take a look. So they just created a Telegram that opened yesterday. They are working on a website, but let me show you what their AI agent is poised to do. So today marks the first real milestone for Gen Agent, Gen's on-chain intelligence engine designed to surface early stage meme coins before they pump. So this thing, this AI agent was designed to scan wallets and all this stuff. I'll catch up here. Real-time Twitter monitoring, market cap filtering, DEX screen integration, right? Every token is validated through the DEX screener's API, pulling live data, confirming we're only tracking real tokens with real liquidity. Mention thresholds to reduce noise. A token only appears on the dashboard once it hits 3 unique mentions. That means no random off tweets make the cut. Verified contact display. The dashboard only shows click to copy Solana addresses for each token. So the one of the use cases here is if you own a certain amount of this token, you are going to be given access to this dashboard. And this dashboard is going to have this early information. Okay. Now, the technology they just put this out. This still needs to be, verified, and it needs to, let's be honest, it needs to win, right? If you want to have an AI agent and you want to be successful in this space, you need to win. A good example of winning is AIXBT, something that we identified in Kryptonaires. I believe around $8 million was the first post for AIXBT. That went up to $870 million. It has since come back down to about $70 million, but you can see how quickly these things can start to take off, especially if the market starts to turn around and Solana is doing its thing. All right, why it matters. So GenCoin's true utility, it's not for just a sentiment or bot anymore. It's the on-chain discovery engine. We've laid the foundation, early stage token radar, signal over noise, a real dashboard for intelligence. And so what kind of information is it pulling? That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. So crypto lives on X. Every rug, run, or pump is born, right? If you're not on, crypto Twitter, that's part of getting information early. That's where a lot of it's posted. Every hour, the GenBot scans the top trending coins and meme coins on Solana, analyzes recent community chatter, summarizes sentiment like a clam. I didn't understand that. Oh, excuse me. Summarizes sentiment like a calm, observant friend. Excuse me about that. Fucking Cass. Posts updates in real time as GenCoin Solana. No emojis, no hype, no short sentence. Talks about Bonk showing up again. Where you can basically buy this right now on, through Dex Screener. I believe on Radium. I bought it on Pump Fund. I bought some on Pump Fund. I bought some on Bull X. But X, formerly Twitter, right? Watches tokens mentions on Twitter, targets Reddit, targets Telegram, targets Solana wallets, targets SoulScan, Helios, targets Google Trends, CoinGecko, and mirrors Medium. Like, this thing actually could do some interesting numbers if people start to find out about it. A live AI bot that posts commentary on trending Solana coin sentiment summaries generated by OpenAI, meme aware tweet logic, and mirrors how humans actually speak. A back-end system that is easily to expand on other sources. Anyways, I saw this. And of course, I'm about to go live, so I don't have, a year to research this. And this actually wasn't out when I put money into this. This has only been out for 2 days. Anyways, let me just show you what's happened with the price here. We have actually gone to 114,000. Now, this had a high recently of 121,000, and we got in back here, right? Like April 18th is where you would have been able to get into this if you were paying attention inside of Cryptonaires. And just the high to the high, this is about 170%. Nothing too crazy has happened yet, but I'm hopeful. I did put in, God, I'm trying to remember how much exactly I put in. It's probably like $2,000 now. Sometimes I take these really very risky swings. And, part of getting into a crypto project is, who is behind this crypto project? And yes, it could be some, random person I've met in Cryptonaires, been a Cryptonaires member, but at least like I have some, past history with this person. I don't know who they are in real life, but they seem to have posted some decent information in Cryptonaires when they were there. So I wanted to support their project. And, this could be hit or miss sometimes. I am still holding on to my tokens. I haven't sold any yet, but if this were to go to 500K or a million or even 5 million, it could be a huge, huge win. From where I posted this to I bet between $3 and $4 million market cap would be 100x from where I posted it inside of Cryptonaires. They haven't even started to market the token yet, but I just wanted to point this out to the larger audience, which is you. I am invested in this, and yes, it is. We're talking about risk factor, 10 out of 10. All right. All of this is risk. Update here. KTA. This was posted in Cryptonaires long time ago. I think this was posted around like 10 million, 12 million. Is that 70 million now? This was posted by one of our team members. Something to take a look at. It's still doing really well. $70 million market cap and growing. All right, let's get back to some other information here. I just want to get, any questions about the GenCoin thing? I know there's, I like these really random AI agents. Some of them I've been very successful at making money. Some of them have gone to nothing. So just to be super transparent, investing in AI agents is a lot like investing in meme coins. I just want to say that again because I want people to understand it's all risk, right? It's not like you're investing in Cardano or XRP or something that has, this tenure of utility and developers building on it. This is a small team of people trying to make an impact in the crypto market. So, all right, let's get back to it. Any questions? Let's see how. What's up, Kim? Good to see you. What is the token? Oh, it's GenCoin. Yeah, let me show it to you, Kim. I'll give you the exact information. I don't want you like trying to find something that's the wrong thing. So let me pull this up here. I don't even have it saved on this side. Hold on. GenCoin. 115 market cap. I'm going to post everything for you. Okay. So here you go. Here is the deck screener. So just make sure it's coming from me. And I will post the, give me 1 second. I'll post the contract address. Here is the contract address. Okay. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, obviously do the research. The website's not out yet. So there's really only the Telegram and taking a look at the Twitter. If you want to know what the Twitter looks like, actually, I can show you that really quickly. I had it pulled up here. At least I thought I had it pulled up. Let me just pull this up real quick. Yeah. All right. So this is what the Twitter looks like. And so if you've seen, so like here, let me show you this. AIXBT. All right. AIXBT sitting at 82 million, but check this out. Bam! Look at this. 88 cents. So if you have a billion supply, which I think this is, right? Yep, 1 billion supply. This is $886 million market cap. Huge market cap. So you've seen stuff like GOAT, right? GOAT had, I don't even remember how high this went. This went up to $1.3 billion market cap. So there are people that are very interested in these types of things. It's just, how do you get it well known enough where you start having influencers or people talking about your token? The only way to do that is to get post information that is accurate and early enough. And right now we just don't have the data to tell you, where this is going, but we'll see. All right. Very, very early, guys. Very, very early. All right. So let's get back to this. We're going to talk about altcoins. Then we're going to talk about the economy. And then we're going to talk about my favorite, which is XRP. So let's see here. Bitcoin pumped trigger the golden cross for alts since 2021. Last time a super cycle like this ignited the biggest the alt season. This is your last chance before the altcoin market hits $10 trillion, right? We know that this market has been waiting to explode. This golden cross was crossed again. This is the last time it happened. We got this movement here. We are expecting another move. Here is the moves back here in the previous cycle. As you can see, it happened here and we got this pump. It happened here and we got this pump. This really does signal a start of something special. Kind of excited to see where this goes. I've shown you this in the past few weeks. The money supplies of the US, Japan, China, and the euro have just skyrocketed. This is the reason I believe people are looking to stuff like Bitcoin and XRP and these other assets, because they won't be as affected by money printing as money actually is. So right now, if you have $1 million sitting in the bank, you actually are losing money every single day. More money is created. This is how the US dollar's buying power has lost 99% of its buying power over the last 100 years, give or take. But you get the picture. And then, altcoin season, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, meme coins, get out. Like I was recording some content earlier today and I said that exact thing, right? I was going through some of this information. You got to understand, this is not, we're not breaking the 4-year cycle in this market. That is my personal opinion. So, which means we are going to have a huge top, and then things are going to cool off again as we wait for regulation in the United States and other places. All right, let's keep going. Alt season versus 2021 versus 2025. We are kind of at this point where we should be heading up towards that $9-10 trillion area. If we can get to like 10-12 trillion, it'll be an insane market. Low end, we're looking at probably 6 to 8 trillion. A lot of people believe Solana will be $1,000 in the next 12 months. If you remember back, this was like, what is this? It was this 23. Hold on, let me look at the chart here. We were talking about Solana. I was talking about Solana back when it was like right here, right? This $17, $18, right? And I was showing you data that I thought Solana was going to reach a price target of $600 to $800 in this cycle, right? I still think that's quite accurate. We saw Solana hit $273 just this past January. And this is kind of right after kind of Trump took office here. Trump took office, I believe on the 20th of January. And this is when, things started to cool down because of policy changes. But this is going to pop right back up. And man, I hope it makes people a whole lot of money. Let's keep it going here. Total 3 Bitcoin dominance retest. I don't know if that is English. That is not English. I do apologize. Let me just show you the chart here. More information about the golden cross. You can see more people are talking about this more and more on Twitter. More of the same kind of charting here. Altcoins looking at a 30x. Some altcoins will do that. Some altcoins will do more. $1.5 trillion added to the stock market today. It's just interesting. Yesterday we lost 1.5 trillion. Today we added 1.5 trillion. I feel like we are on this merry-go-round, stop and go. The reason why I think the markets are pumping today is this U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the tariff standoff with China is unsustainable, and he expects a de-escalation, which is news that people want to hear. You also have Kevin Leary talking about the trade war with China. Let me go ahead and play this for you. You know what? I'm going to save this for back here. I need to give you some other information first. Okay, let me go through this. All right. As this is what I put together yesterday as April 21st. That was yesterday, right? Yes. Okay. I made a video about this. I don't know if it's going to come out today or it's going to come out tomorrow, but it has a lot of the same information in it. So I just want you to bear with me. If you watch this with me here, understand that there's more information in the video that is going to be released on my YouTube page. But this is going through some data that I think stood out to me, and I think you should be aware of. Okay. So the S&P erased 2.5 trillion since since April 9th, the high of the 90-day tariff pause. While markets await trade deals, Japan said that they won't keep conceding to U.S. tariff talks. On April 16th, Bloomberg published the below article claiming that trade negotiations with Japan are underway. Trump administration officials claimed trade deals were being discussed with 50 plus countries. Markets rallied for 5 to 10 days. Below is the timeline of recent events. We are now on the 12th day of the 90-day tariff pause with no trade deals that have yet been announced. So to this period, we have no trade deals to speak of. All right. I have not seen any news of any countries and any official trade deals yet. That doesn't mean there isn't any, but a lot of the places that I'm looking for data, I haven't seen them mentioning it either. So if you have some information, I'll check the chat here in just a little bit, but I don't think I've seen anything just yet. But it says, as seen the price. So here's what you're looking at. Okay. So here is the top here. Here's the 90-day pause. The markets took off. And then, of course, we've just been chopping sideways, and then now we're heading back down here. Here is the trade deal headlines with Japan, and then China issues warning not to cooperate with the United States. Kind of crazy stuff. Let me show you this. This is why it was getting so escalated. Last night, China escalated the U.S. trade war once again, claiming, China warned that countries who cooperate with the United States in ways that compromise their interests will be retaliated against. This effectively means countries must pick between the U.S. and China. So if you're wondering what the hell has been happening the last few days, this is what's been happening. This is the rhetoric. Then we did talk about the Japan headlines, and they had that twice. They do give some information about their, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. The reality is stocks rally 10% from their recent lows on the basis of one catalyst: trade deals will be reached. It is becoming increasingly clear that trade deals will take time. Just now, Mexico's president said that a deal was not reached in talks with Trump today. Again, this was April 21st. And then on the top of this, President Trump continues to publicly attack Jerome Powell. President Trump calls to preemptive rate cuts and claims that there is virtually no inflation. Trump is now calling the Fed, Jerome Powell, Mr. Too Late. So there's also been this attack. I don't know if, you want to use the word attack. I'm using the word attack. You might say it's something else, but there's been this ongoing attack against Jerome Powell. I wanted to bring up some other information. I'll have that on Friday for you. I've been looking into what happens if Jerome Powell gets fired, or, so bear with me as I go through this. So I wanted to better understand how much money's been lost so far in the stock market, or how much money's been taken out. So as of April 2025, approximately 9.6 trillion in market capitalization has been wiped out from the U.S. stock market. This is going back to January 17th, inauguration day. Of the 9.6 trillion, 5 trillion was lost in just 2 days in early April, marking the most significant 2-day decline in U.S. market history. Remember, the stock market in the United States is well over 100 years old. So going back that much data and taking a look, this is the 2 worst back-to-back days in history, does start to, It doesn't start. It's not feeling good here. The S&P is down more than 13% year to date. The NASDAQ has entered a bear market territory, falling over 20% to its all-time high in December 2024. So I wanted to better understand, like, has there been money? The bond market is kind of what sets interest rates in the United States. The 10-year Treasury note, if you're buying a house, if credit cards, student loans, personal loans, whatever, usually they're set by this rate. And so I wanted to better understand, how what was happening with the bond market. So here's a little more context. Massive sell-off. Investors have offloaded U.S. treasuries at a scale rarely seen outside of a crisis period, causing yields on the 10-year Treasury note to spike from 4% to 4.5% in just a few days in early April 2025. This indicates a significant drop in bond prices as yields and prices move in the opposite directions. Market size and impact. The U.S. fixed income market is valued at $47 trillion, while precise figures of the total amount. I was just trying to figure out how much money was, sold out of the bond market. Give some global context. U.S. Treasuries contributed to an instability across a $140 trillion global bond market. So as you can see, the U.S. bond market is interconnected with all of these other countries. And when the U.S. is kind of doing, crazy policy, other countries start to get worried because they're holding so much U.S. debt. The issue here is if you piss off enough countries, they're not going to want to hold U.S. debt. Then they're going to move on to other things. And if the U.S. doesn't have the world reserve currency, right? If they move to something else, that will be catastrophic for our everyday way of life here in the United States. Are the products that we sell or the services that we sell globally, we won't be able to ask as much for them. And of course, then we are going to be looking towards other countries to set fiscal policy for the world. I wanted to better understand this a little bit better. So let me just go ahead and show you some more information here. This is the first time since the onset of the global financial crisis that the S&P 500, the U.S. dollar index, and the 10-year Treasury yields are down at the same point this year. So take a look at this. When you keep setting these like first time in history or first time since the global financial crisis, you can only have so many of these records back to back to back before you have a total collapse of the economy. All right. I want you to understand the US economy, or any economy for that matter, doesn't start or stop on a dime. It's a very slow moving process. And the shocks in the system that we are sending right now won't be seen for the next few months. But once they are seen, be prepared to pay extra and have your dollar not go as far. Here is a little bit more information on the 10-year Treasury yield nearing 4.5%. This person is saying that's a huge problem for the federal budget. Remember, the U.S. has to refinance all of this debt, right? And if interest rates keep ticking up because you have China and Japan and all these other people that hold tremendous amounts of U.S. debt, as they are dumping it on the open market, bond rates are rising. And as those bond rates are rising, everything that you're paying on with your credit cards and all of these fixed variable interest rates are moving up and getting more expensive for you to service that debt, including the U.S. government. Listen to this.
If the 10 years over 4.5% right now. Now that's going to be a huge problem for the federal budget, because interest payments are accounting for 13.1% of government expenditures already. A huge thing, because when you pay interest, when the government pays interest, no one's getting anything for it. They're just servicing debt. They're not getting any product or paying any wages or anything. They're just paying creditors who've loaned the government money, and that's going to go up and blow a hole in the budget and cause a bigger deficit. And that bigger deficit, by the way, maybe the Fed will be under a lot of pressure to be buying some of those bonds that are being used to finance the deficit, or maybe they'll buy because the dealers aren't buying and the foreign central banks aren't buying and the Fed starts buying. And if that happens, then the money supply will go up, David.
All right. And we're starting to see the money supply go up. So I wanted to better understand, like, what happens so the current treasury yield today, right now, just let me refresh this, is 4.34%. Okay. It was a little bit higher and it's since come back down a little bit, but I wanted to better understand like what happens if we hit 5%. Because as I was researching this, I kept hearing people say, oh, 5%, 5%, 5%, catastrophe, bad level. And I was like, well, is it just a number or is there a reason? So I wanted to better understand it. So here we go. I'm going to, I'm going to take you on this journey with me. All right, here we go. What happens if treasury yields rise above 5%? If the US yields, especially the 10-year yield, rise above 5%, it signals a significant shift in financial markets and the broader economy. The main implications will be higher borrowing costs across the economy. Treasury yields serve as a benchmark for a wide range of interest rates, including mortgages, credit cards, corporate loans. When treasury yields rise, borrowing costs for consumers and businesses increase. This can slow economic activity as higher rates make it more expensive to finance homes, cars, businesses, and investments. Now, with rates, this is why Trump is screaming at Jerome Powell to lower rates, because he's understanding that his tariff, this tariff trade war that we find ourselves, in, doesn't matter why we're doing it, right? We are here, all right? It happened. It's happening. We are here. And as this is slowing down economic growth in the United States and tariffs start to come in, you have to understand if businesses are not selling, right? If things are more expensive, people are not spending money in the economy. And if people aren't spending money in the economy, right, businesses that create things for consumers will start to go out of business. Their supply chains will start go out of business. So you have to understand, like, it's not just, hey, there's a factory that puts these widgets together. It's like all of these different pieces go into this widget, and these pieces are sent in from, Canada, Mexico, maybe in the United States, maybe, across the ocean, and they're put together in these certain places in the United States. It's going to make all of this stuff more expensive, and it makes people not want to spend money into this economy. Pressure on equity markets, as 5% is a psychological important level that hasn't been sustained since before the 2008 financial crisis. Higher yields make bonds more attractive relative to stocks. If the earnings yield on equities does not keep up, investors may shift to stocks, from stocks to bonds, putting downward pressure on stock prices. The price to earnings, or better known as the PE, multiplies for equities may contract as investors demand higher returns to compensate for increased yields available in the bond markets. You also have signals about inflation in the Fed policy. Rising yields often reflect higher inflation expectations or concerns about persistent inflation. If yields rise above 5% due to inflation fears, the Federal Reserve may be less likely to cut rates or even consider raising them to contain inflation. Conservatively, if the rise is due to strong economic growth rather than inflation, it might indicate a robust economy and still raise borrowing costs. It also will cause fiscal and supply concerns. Higher yields will also reflect concerns about the U.S. fiscal position, especially if the government deficits are expected to remain high, increasing the supply of treasuries, pushing up yields. If foreign investors such as China reduce their purchases of treasury yields may rise further to attract buyers. And then, of course, yield curve implications. I'm not going to get into that. You also have market volatility and investor behavior. A move above 5% could trigger volatility as investors adjust portfolios. Listen, it's a very big psychological number. 5% is, they would, it'd be considered, financial crisis levels. And then I wanted to understand, like, how much would it cost to service the debt if it is 5% or 4%? Because the U.S. has to refinance in 2025 alone. The United States has to refinance $7 to $9.5 trillion of U.S. Treasury debt, and over the next few years, they have to. The U.S. has to refinance 28.9 trillion of publicly held debt. Okay, and so what is it going to cost between 4% and 5%? Here is the annual added borrowing cost. So 1% is an enormous amount of money. As you can see here, this almost doubles 196 billion to 476 billion, which is an increase, a really big increase. And here's some other things that we should be looking at. For each 1% rate increase on $28 trillion is another $280 billion in interest. Basically, if rates don't start coming down, and if we keep adding more and more debt, soon most of what is made in tax income will be going towards interest. Listen to this. Rising rates could push interest payments to $2 trillion a year by 2035. This is if we don't go through with Trump's first administration. They created a bunch of different like tax credits for corporations and other things. If they're talking about extending those tax credits, and we're not here to negotiate if it's a good or a bad thing. It is going to add $5 trillion more of debt onto the United States, which regular people are going to have to pay for. If the 1% is paying less, then the middle class and everybody else will be paying that much more. That's just how that works. We take in about $4.92 trillion a year in tax revenue. If we're spending $2 trillion of that $5 trillion on interest, you can see where this is going. This is why a lot of people are saying a new financial system is needed. But what are you going to do with all this debt? And then I said, what happens if countries stop buying U.S. debt? Because that's been the threat. I wanted to better understand that. Higher interest rates, weaker U.S. dollar, rising inflation, risk of recession, financial market volatility, trade and currency shifts, right? The U.S. trade balance would likely improve as a weaker dollar makes U.S. goods cheaper abroad, but this comes at a cost of domestic inflation and global market uncertainty. You also have impact on foreign holders. Countries like China and Japan, which hold the most of U.S. debt, would see the value of their holdings decline if bond prices fall and the dollar weakens. This could discourage further purchases and force them to find alternative investments, which are limited in scale and safety compared to treasuries. And then potential of global financial instability. This is why you had like the France foreign minister saying, not to fire Jerome Powell. That would be catastrophic to markets. So as you can see, all of this stuff is adding towards the moment and the drama that's going into this moment. And just understand that, I don't know how long this will go on for. I'd imagine there's even more and more pressure being put on the administration right now to fix whatever situation they put us in. They need to fix it. All right. And, the average American household carries $7,000 in credit card debt. They must not be living in New York or California. And then U.S. consumer debt is $14.6 trillion. 40% of Americans struggle to cover. This is actually $1,000 emergency expense. I actually did the due diligence on this as well. Here is this. About half of Americans can't cover an $1,000 an emergency expense. So as you can see, right now, people don't have additional money to be putting into any kind of speculative assets. You're seeing a lot of institutions coming in, and that's what you are seeing who is buying right now in the crypto market. It's more institutions than anything. Man, that was a lot to go over. Whew. All right, I need to take a break. What's up? Man, there's 1,800 of you hanging out here. We have 1,146 people on Twitter, and we have 706 people on YouTube. Let me do this. If you're on Twitter, do me a huge favor. If you are liking the information that I put together here for you today, share the space on Twitter. Let's see if we can get this like 2,500 or 3,000. The most people we've ever had in a Sensei chat is 3,000. I'd love to see us crack that. So let me get to some of your questions here. XRP is rich. Wait, XRP is rich white man's gold. I think XRP is anybody's gold, right? At this point. Let me see here. All right. I'm not going to scroll up through like thousands of comments, right? So if you want me to answer some stuff, guys, start typing it in. I'll try to address it here. Johnny saying, hey, Sensei, what do you think realistically XRP would be worth at the end of this year? 5, 10 or more. Hey, Johnny, great question. Thanks for being here. So let me just leave your question up there on the 1 second, Johnny. Excuse me. Okay. Good question. So we are getting to a place right now where you have, 20, 25 different ETF products that are waiting to be approved. That will bring in billions of dollars into the XRP price. I just did a video. Let me see if I can actually pull that up for you. Hold on one second. I just did all of this math and all this information that you're asking me about. The exact thing you're asking me about, I just did this right here. Hold on. Where is it? It's got to be in the middle somewhere. Hold on. I wanted to better understand your exact question. So I did this. I just can't find where it is in this video. Here it is. Okay. Okay. So now that I have this up, now I can refresh and tell you. Okay. So let me just put this back up on the screen here. It depends how much money comes in. Okay. And it depends what the multiplier effect is. All right. Now, I mean, I'm not going to explain the multiplier effect, but I have multiple videos on the multiplier effect. In a brief thing, the multiplier effect is, sometimes what we're seeing in 24-hour volume into XRP is like $5 million, $10 million, and that can change the market cap billions. Okay. And so that is called the multiplier effect. A few million can change a few billion. Okay. And so if the multiplier effect is 50, 100, or 200x, right? And we start bringing in, I think, let me just see how much money this was, just so I can see. Hold on. Let me see. Regulation is being passed. What are we looking at? So here is 50x, 100x, and 200x. If we got $95 billion and we're looking at it. Okay, so this is on the high end. So Bitcoin has brought in $95 billion. Okay, so here, I had all this in this video here. So here, you see I had this graph about 5 billion, 10 billion, 20 billion. Go watch this whole video. I have all of the price estimates of what we would be looking at if we brought in 1 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, and $20 billion through XRP ETFs and with all of the multipliers. I figured all of this information out for you. I just don't have the graph in front of me to go over with you, but if you watch that video, it gets into your exact question and where we're going to be. It really depends on how much money comes in those ETFs. I would just be guessing. And I don't think me guessing is going to be very valuable, right? Because even though I spend all of my time researching XRP and understanding the crypto market, I don't know. And I think if anyone tells you that they do know, I think they're probably lying to you. All right. Because I have no idea where it's going to go. It depends on stablecoin regulation. Does that happen in July? Does that happen in August? Does that happen, at the end of the year? Crypto digital asset regulation in the United States, does that happen, right after stablecoin regulation, or does that happen in 2026? All of these things will play a role, right? We're not at adoption yet. We are still in speculation mode. So understand that you need whatever price targets you have, they need to be speculation mode. Unless the system collapses on itself, you have to move to blockchain overnight. That is when you can expect a stupid high price for something like XRP, because the US probably wouldn't have a ton of good options. All right, let me get to some other people's questions. Appreciate you. Jessa says, I'm working at Jeep, been accumulating XRP. Thank you, Sese. Jessa, thank you so much. What do you do at Jeep? Do you sell? You in parts? You in service? What do you do at Jeep? I came from, in my younger days, when I was, running and gunning, I was working car lots. So I have a big heart for, people in the car business. Appreciate you being here. Solana is better than XRP. Michael, you're crazy, man. Stop it. You're so funny. You're crazy, Michael. T Sensei, any idea why Sui is pumping so much more compared to other altcoins? Man, are you crazy? Sui's awesome. I've been telling you about Sui. How many times? How much have I been telling you about Sui? Let's take a look at Sui, guys. I've been telling you to buy Sui. Well, I can't tell you what to do. Oh my God. Look at this. Okay. We were talking about Sui right in this little valley here, right? Right as Sui was starting to get more popular, 70, 80 cents. This is where you should have been watching Sensei Chat. You could have bought Sui right down here. You could have taken some profit here at the top, rebought back down here, and 2 to 3x your entire supply. Sui is basically the next Solana. Okay. Sui has an enormous amount of developers, good speed, good transparency, good community, everything that you need. Good meme coins, good DeFi. SUI has it all. SUI will be at 3 digits before you know it. Okay. I wouldn't be buying Solana today. I would be buying SUI today. Please understand that, I believe, and I'm just a random guy. I used to be next to a seal. Now I redid the office a bit and I'm missing my seal. My seal's over here somewhere. So I have to get a little table back here so my seal can rejoin me. I have this here, let me show you this. I have this big light, the softbox here now. And there was such a glare off the whiteboard. I had to take the seal down. So I'm trying to get all this stuff, really nice for you guys. Oh, here we go. Hamdu, where do you buy XDC? Well, thank you for the 199. Let me go ahead and go over that with you. Where can you buy XDC? That's a great question. Anytime you guys want to better understand where you can buy something, simply pull it up on CoinMarketCap, okay? And what you want to do is you want to click on markets. You see this little button here that says markets right next to chart. You click on this and here are all the places that you can buy XDC and what it is against. When I say what it is against, you see here you need USDT to buy it. Here you need USD, you need Ethereum, all these different places. So if you're on Bybit, BitGet, Mexi, Gate.io, KuCoin, Bitfinex, BingX, HTX, LBank, Bitstamp, Gate.io. If you're on any of these exchanges, you can buy XDC. Okay. Is that helpful for you? I hope that's helpful. Let's keep it going. And thank you for the 199. I really appreciate you. Why is it that we are pumping today? I just logged on. Helper. We just went through a bunch of financial information. The basically things that the reason the markets are pumping today. One is that Scott Bessent, the Treasurer of the United States, has gone on to say that they think this negotiation with China needs to kind of de-escalate and ease up. So hopefully the U.S. and China will be coming to terms again and not at each other's throat. That's one of the reasons. And then, we went through a bunch of other information. Trump tweeted today that he is not interested in firing Jerome Powell. The markets were very uneasy because the Federal Reserve needs to be separated from the presidency. If the president can simply bully or say something to the Federal Reserve to make them lower or raise rates, then what is the point of the Federal Reserve, right? So you just have the president doing it. So that is the two things that I've seen in today that has caused the market to go green. Jen's here. Hello, everyone. Hit the like button for Sensei. I appreciate you, Jen. Thank you for the flowers. Coinbase has XDC. Irish. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Great name. Raz is here. Hey, Robert. Why are we pumping at the moment? I just answered all that for you guys. Good to see you. Sensei, bro, thanks for the amazing work. While I am XRP bull, today's up move is generic for all crypto, not XRP specific. Your views, comments. I mean, yeah, it's not always going to be one asset moving against the entire market, right? It kind of Bitcoin goes and then other things go with it, right? So, if this is going to play out like the 2021 bull market, you're going to have Bitcoin really take off. You're going to have Bitcoin, 150, 175, 200,000. Ethereum should hit 5, 6, 7,000. On a crazy market, you can see Ethereum hitting even 10,000. And then you're going to see, altcoins, AI, you're going to see, AI agents, you're going to see gaming, DePIN, real world assets. Those assets will start pumping. Meme coins and other things will be last. Once you start seeing like people's grandmas getting into the crypto market to trade meme coins, that's usually the time that you should be looking for the exit sign. All right. According to all you said, smart investors like ourselves are going to make a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, guys, you have perfect market conditions to make some money. I think people just need to understand that these things don't happen overnight. It takes a little bit of patience. It takes some learning. It takes some experience. And you've picked a really good time to do something in your life, right? I think time and time again, people get a little bit of tired with investing. I don't know, like it's the stock market. How I see the stock market is like you're putting money into something because a company is trying to raise money to expand and do this stuff, but there's not really that like 100x or 1000x or 10,000x per chance that something could really go insane with adoption. So that's why I'm more bullish in the crypto market. And if you listen to someone like Raoul Paul and those type of people thinking the crypto market's going to go from 2 trillion to 100 trillion over the next 5 to 10 years, I think this is the place we need to be. All right. What is the link you posted? Johnny Allison, you got to give me some more information about that, my friend. And alongside XRP, which one of these would you consider for the next successful to invest. Well, I can never give you investment advice. I'm just, random guy. ADA, XLM, Crow, HBAR. I think ADA is going to have a really good market. XLM usually follows XRP, which is really kind of crazy how those two coincide on the charts. Crypto.com, cool. I don't really get excited with crypto.com. HBAR, of course, is a great asset. If I were to choose, 2 of the 3 there, I'd say HBAR, ADA, XLM. Yeah, Cardano is going to do some pretty big numbers, guys. Be prepared for that. What do you think about the XRP hacked? Yeah, Andrew, great. Let's pull that up, actually, Andrew. I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to, let me just show everybody what he's talking about so people don't panic. I thought I had it here. Oh, here it is. Here, let me pull this up here. All right. This compromise XRPL.js NPM package does not affect Zaman wallet, Zaman users, in-house infrastructure and libraries, blah, 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 blah. So we have discovered a backdoor in the official XRPL NPM package. This backdoor steals private keys and sends them to attackers. The affected versions is 4.21, 4.24. If you're using an earlier version, do not upgrade. I don't think this is going to affect me and you day to day. I think this is more developers, but good bringing that up. I'm glad we did get a chance to show people that, just to be safe and be careful here. Love your personality. Just kidding. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Sensei just needs 600 more tokens to hit my second goal. Maverick, you got this. I believe in you. You're going to get there. You're going to get there, man. Could go to the Supreme Court and get Hinman rules changed. I hate Hinman, dude. We talked about that. Let's see what else we got here. Paul Atkins spoke at the White House. I got that clip, Miss Erica. You want to see it? I got you, girl. Let's see it right here. Where's Paul Atkins? Here it is. This is the clip I found. 42 seconds. Play it up.
A top priority of my chairmanship will be to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach. We will work to ensure that the United States is the best and most secure place in the world to invest and to do business. So, Mr. President, again, thank you very much for your graciousness and extending such a warm welcome to my family and me today in this storied room. I look forward to working with you, with colleagues in your administration, and with Congress to advance your agenda to bolster the economy and build on U.S. leadership of the global markets. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Love that, right? Paul Atkins did get the nod today. He is now the SEC chair, the 34th chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Man, I felt really good when I saw Gary Gensler get in there, and then like my whole world fell apart. So I don't want to get too excited, but I did hear Paul Atkins say some really important things about how important the Ripple case is. And I think he really understands that the crypto market is here to do good, not just, scam people and do bad. So, it's going to be on Paul Atkins to reshape the image of the SEC after the clusterfuck of the last 2 administrations, right? You had the Ripple lawsuit under the first Trump administration the last few days. And of course, the Biden administration, it was even worse. They attacked pretty much every single crypto company and crypto bank and neobank in the United States. And it just was not a good situation for crypto companies. So I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Erica. Thank you so much for doing that. I got you covered. Let's see here. I'm trying to read down here. Good day from the down under. What's up? Every pension, buying what we can every month. One small step closer to my 1K XRP. I love to hear that, man. You keep going. And you know what? The 60% of the people that watch my channel are American, but the second highest country that watches my channel is Australia. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bring the seal back. Hold on. He's here. He hasn't left. He's here. I just don't have anything to put him on. Just know he's right here, okay? The seal hasn't gone anywhere. I love the seal. Oh man, there's gonna be a riot. There's gonna be a riot on my hands. I ordered this like little table to put behind me, so I'm waiting for the table. Okay, Amazon only delivers so quickly. All right. ETFs did nothing for Bitcoin. What? What? Is it 420 where you are? No, it can't be 420. You're not high, right? I'm just kidding. Okay. So what at its high point, the Bitcoin ETFs, do you know how much money they brought into Bitcoin? Guess. Just take a second, take a deep breath, and guess. Do you think it's $1 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion? What do you think it is? Would you be shocked if I would have told you it's $110 billion? 110 actual billion dollars went into Bitcoin through ETFs. If that is not a lot of money to you, man, like you must be like some rich African prince or something like that. I want to come hang out at your palace if you don't think that's a lot of money. But just Google search that, right? You can look that up yourself, right? Here, check this out. Well, I mean, I like using AI. It's a little bit easier. But how much money in total has gone into Bitcoin ETFs at its high point? How much is in Bitcoin ETFs today? Always want to get the high point and where we are right now, so better understand that. As soon as that comes up with the information, your browser has lost connection. I love that. I love that. Am I still here? I'm still here. Okay. Ariana, am I still here? It says I'm still here. I'm still here. Thank you, Jake. I love you. Okay, so here you go. At the peak, US Bitcoin ETFs reach 115 billion. Damn, I have a good memory. I have a good memory. Look at that. $115 billion. The peak was achieved despite the periods of market volatility, managed to cover 95% of the invested capital. Hold on. This peak was achieved despite periods of market volatility and a notable drop in Bitcoin's price, with ETFs managing to hold on to 95% of their invested capital. Does that mean 95% of money that was invested into Bitcoin came from ETFs? Because that's how I read that. That's how you read that too? Current amount in Bitcoin ETFs as of today, 102 billion. So to say that there wasn't a lot of money, I think is just inaccurate. I think that's more of an education issue. But I hope that better helps you understand that ETFs played a big role. And if $100 billion went into XRP ETFs, you'd be looking at depending on what the multiplier effect is, you'd be looking at $100, $200, $300 XRP pretty quickly with those numbers. I'm here. Okay. Appreciate you. Hey, Renee, everybody's at different points, everybody's at different points. So all good. I react weirdly to things sometimes. I overreact. I'm a very emotional person. If you know me in real life, you know that I am bubbly and fun, but I can also be pretty serious. And so you got to take the good with the bad. All good. Let's see here. What are the steps after you sell for profit, taxes wise? A capital gain, short or long term, is anything we should do or info you have for your tax guy? Sorry. Tony's great question. You always want to talk with a tax expert who understands crypto. I interviewed, man, I'm trying to remember this dude's name. Ernest. Hold on. Somebody asked me this the other day, and we were able to find the right Sensei chat. Let me see if I can find it for you. Hold on. Live. Oh God. I don't know which one it is though. Let me see here. When you do 2 shows a week, everything starts to blend in. Crap. Oh, I'm getting closer. That's him. Is that Ernest? No, not Ernest. I do apologize. Bear with me. I can't remember. Glyph. I interview so many people. It is difficult for me to remember which video this was. Oh, this one. Here we go. All right, here you go. All right, go watch this. If you want tax help, go watch that video. Decrypted.tax. You can go to decrypted.tax, which is on the screen. You can ask for a free appointment, and all of those really riveting tax questions you want to ask a tax expert. All right, he's gonna know what you should do, how you can save money. That is just not something that I am very familiar with. All right, so hopefully that helps you, brother. Sold some take profits, have about 1,500 XRP left. Meg, appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone know Ernest P. Worrell? Isn't the person I just shared? Is that his last name? Ernest Lee is Lee's his last name. I don't know who Ernest P. Worrell is. Oh, you guys are talking to each other? Okay. Let me get back to some more information here. Absolutely, Tony's. I hope that helps you, my friend. I know taxes can be challenging, right? And I know, I am not a tax expert. I have to go to tax experts. Like, they're still telling me about taxes, and I'm like, shh. I don't know. Like, if I cannot get like really connected with something, I just can't, set myself down and learn it. Like, I have to find some excitement there, or I'm just, hey, you're awesome. You're not retarded. Don't worry about it. It's a great question. Feel free to ask any other question. I'll go ahead and answer for you. It's all a learning experience. The more that you know, the more prepared that you can be. All right. But where you get your information is really important. And if you want to come back and watch these live chats, I guarantee you that it's filled with good information for you. Damn, we got another 199 from Hamdu. Just bought some XEC. Thanks, Sensei. My man, I'd love to hear that. Good job, man. Ernest is the man. All right, we got some people that know him. If you watch that interview was a lot of fun. Ernest, that guy's lived a lot of different lifetimes. Oh, hold on. Is this what I think it is? Is this what I think it is? Oh no. Oh no. Please don't be what I think it is. Is 500 XRP enough to be rich? I mean, what is your version of rich? Like, when you ask somebody, like, how much, what do you consider rich? If you ask 100 people in 100 different countries or cities that same question, you get 100 different answers. So it's impossible for me to know what rich is to you. Just hard to know, man. You got to give me some. Me personally, like, I'm going to try to stack as much XRP as I can, like, period. End of story. If it goes up, buy some more. If it goes down, buy some more. Like, I'm really positioning myself for when we get mass adoption. Not like the speculation thing is great. It's good for, trying to make 100% here, 100% there. But if you're trying to make some like game-changing, life-changing wealth, find the technology that central banks and banking and institutions are going to adopt, and hope and pray. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Oh, let's see here. Sensei, what do you think about staking on Uphold? So thanks, Jessa, for the question. Staking anywhere, you just need to understand what are the terms. What are you being offered? And what do you have to give up to get what they're offering you? Also, like, what is the staking periods? Can those terms change on you, like mid-stake? And then also, how long does it take you to unstake? Right? So I would want to better understand all of those different things before I committed a stake to any exchange or any place. Obviously, exchanges might be a little safer to stake than some random DeFi app, but get all the details first before you decide to stake. All right. I think we're gonna have to start blocking people that say Ernest something, but we'll see. Are you still buying XRP for long-term prices? They are right now. Martin Burke still buying XRP. Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. The acquisition of Hidden Road. Do we know when the value that is going to go through the company will appear on the XRP ledger? Good question. I'm actually working on, I have a connection into Ripple right now. I'm trying to see if I can get either Monica Long, Brad, or somebody high up at Ripple to talk with me. This is one of the questions I want to ask them. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen some updates about this stuff. You know, I think people are not understanding, you know, how Monica Long and Brad have explained this. So with Hidden Road, some of those transactions will be on the XRP ledger. I'd imagine they're going to try to direct a lot of it, but remember, RLUSD is probably going to. They said RLUSD is going to be the main source. If that RLUSD is on the XRP ledger, you will need XRP to do the transactions. It'll create more demand for the XRP token because there's more transactions happening, you know, daily. But we don't know how many transactions are going to use RLUSD on Ethereum and how many are going to use RLUSD on the XRP ledger. Difficult to understand that yet. As soon as I have that information, I'll let you know. I need a mill. Man, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that 500 XRP to the moon. Man, when is enough enough? That's a great question. I think, you know, drug addicts, alcoholics, gamblers, you know, when is enough enough? I don't think anybody really knows. I don't know. Hard to say. Everybody's different, right? Like I've been in here 5 years. Somebody just started today or a week ago or a month ago. We might have different degrees of how much longer we want to be in this market and, you know, what we're trying to do. So, all right, this one has emojis, so I want to see it. Epic. Good to see you, man. Sensei, if given a choice, would you guys swap 4100 H bar for 330 XRP? Ooh. You know, I love XRP. It's a tough question. Listen, I think, you know, I think anybody's portfolio needs to be, you know, you need to have some diversification in. So you need to be able to diversify into multiple assets. So if you're saying, you know, Sensei, I can only have one or two of these, which one is it? Since all of my content is around Ripple, XRP, central bank digital currency, tokenization, I, of course, feel more comfortable with XRP. But that doesn't mean that HBAR is not a fantastic asset. I just probably am not as educated on HBAR than I am XRP. So I'm always going to think XRP, because of my education and all the time that I spend in XRP, is the better asset. But I think HBAR is something that you should have in your portfolio. Like in the top 20, 25 tokens, XRP, HBAR, Cardano, XLM, you know, Algorand, these are all assets that I think are going to be impactful over the next 5 to 10 years. Where are you going to go when you become an XRP millionaire? You know what? I've learned in my life not to pre-plan a bunch of stuff, you know, because if I'm out there planning for this new exciting life with millions of dollars, I'm not going to be, you know, out here grinding, keeping my face to the ground. I'm going to be in La La Land shopping. And, you know, I got to stay hungry. I got to stay hungry for the information and the content. And, you know, things could shift at any moment, especially in the crypto industry. You got to stay hungry. But if and when it happens, I'll have lots of time to figure it out, you know, and maybe we'll do a live stream and we'll get everybody's idea of what they're going to be spending money on. And we'll just go crazy together. You know, we'll take a rush on Porsche dealerships or Lamborghini or Ferrari dealerships. You know, we'll buy restaurants and boats and yachts and islands. I don't know. What do rich people do all day long? Sounds good to me. I guess you can retire in Taiwan with about 400,000 to 500,000. Yeah. See, if you lived in California, 200, 500,000, shoot, people in California that make like 100 grand a year or something like that, or 200 grand a year, they live paycheck to paycheck. It's crazy, right? But it's true. I think people don't like, this is a thing where I'm talking with like my editor, he's from the Netherlands, and like, you know, the tax law is a little different in our countries. And so like, you know, if I make 10 grand, you know, he doesn't understand that 30 or 40% of that goes to taxes, right? So anyways, crazy world. Do you want a bathroom remodel porcelain gold toilet? I don't need a porcelain. You know what would be nice though? Is one of those toilets that, you know, cleans and heated toilet seat and all that stuff. Those are really nice. Like, I think the Japanese are onto something there. Justin, what's up, Justin? Good to see you, bud. What is your suggestion on the best decentralized wallet with no ID verification? Ooh, MetaMask? Almost got attacked by my pen. Did you see that? Oh my God. Almost killed me. I've got a substantial investment paying out in USD transfers only. Ethereum, MetaMask, Ethereum. Like that's I use that every day. I've been using that every day for years. You could do Coinbase Wallet, but MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, that's probably what you should be looking at. And congratulations on a lot of money being paid out. I hope you hit a home run. Or is this you bringing money into the space? Make an exit plan. PL Zion, great bit of information there. Always have an exit plan. Obviously, plans are made to be, smashed and broken, and nothing really goes exactly according to plan. But if you have some type of plan, at least you can have the base of, some things that you would do when things happen. Did I answer Justin's question? I thought I did. Sorry, we've got 2,346 people here. So I'm trying to do as much as I can answering questions. I still had a few other things that I wanted to answer, or some pieces of news that I wanted to go over, but this is a lot of fun too. Have you came across Sologenic, bro? Yeah, I'm familiar with Sologenic. A lot of tokens are created on Sologenic DEX, right? On the XRPL. I mean, I don't own Sologenic, but I'm aware of it. It's like the hard part becomes like, the hard part becomes, everyone's has like different, what they can invest in. Right. And it's like, the crypto market has an endless supply of things you can put money into. Most of the things that you're putting money into in the crypto market, if they're not in the top 10 or top 100, they probably don't have a community. They probably don't have customers, paying customers. And they probably don't have technology that is actually going to be used, in the real world. Okay. There are new projects launching daily that, are going to make a shot or, make an attempt at doing that kind of stuff. But obviously those projects come with a lot more risk. So you need to kind of balance the risk. And it's like, am I going to spend money on buying more Sologenic or what here? Like, let's see what Solo's at. Solo. 50 million market cap. I mean, this is pretty good, especially if you think, eventually this will go to $1 billion. This is back in 2021. This has a high of $6. But it's been trading just flat sideways for a long time. So, 25 cents here. I mean, instead of, Sologenic, you could buy HBAR, same type of price point. There's a lot of assets you could buy. XLM might be a little bit more expensive, but you get what I'm saying? Like the list goes on and on and on. Like what makes Sologenic better than buying like Cardano or HBAR or Ondo or something like that, right? I think you just got to identify, is this really what you want to be in? And if it is, you go. My friends donate plasma to get XRP. Hey man, everyone's going to have a game plan. Like that is some hustle right there. That is some absolute hustle right there. Don't knock the hustle. I mean, everybody is born with different circumstances. It's the way people react to their circumstances and get out from their circumstances is what makes them special, right? And if this person is working their heart out and they needed some extra money to buy XRP, they found a way. Got to respect the grind. What are your thoughts on Circle dropping CPN? I have no idea what the hell CPN is. I do apologize. I can't help you, my man. We will beat Ghost Rob. We will see. Right on, Marcel. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us, my friend. Thank you so much. XRP Yaw Party. See, like that sounds good. That sounds good. Sign me up. Let's go. I feel like I'm 20 again. Let's go. Rich people stress about money that they have. Sal, man, I've heard the saying, the more money you have, the more stress you have. Absolutely. But I think, is it more stress or is it different stress? Because I know the families and people that are having trouble putting money on the table and food on the table, paying for their kids and their bills and things like that. I think those people are under a lot different stress than people with a lot of money, right? And so I think money doesn't solve everything, but it does solve a lot, right? And not having money is hard too, is very difficult. Hey, it's got some good advice there, right? Just pay off your house and chill, make some content. That sounds real nice. I've actually, it's safer for me to live in like a building with a bunch of security and stuff. So like there's a lot of new condominium buildings that are being built like right on the water here in Hawaii. They're like 2 million, 3 million. And I'm like, oh God, but it's so difficult because like you could spend $2 million on an 1,100-foot condo in Hawaii, or you could go to Vegas and be out in the middle of the desert and spend $2 million on a 6-bedroom or 7-bedroom, 5,000 square foot house. Like it depends on what your lifestyle is, I guess. All right. Somebody donated some money. Let me get down to this. Clive. What's up, Clive? I've been following your insights for the past 3 months and truly value your knowledge. I've been accumulating XRP since 2019 and plan to start taking profits once it hits $10 and above. Clive, let me thank you so much for the donation. Any money donated to my channel during live chats or any of my content goes directly to my dog, Luna. If, I could tell you that she loves and thanks you for the donation. I really do appreciate it. Always have a plan, Clive. You know what you're doing here. I wish you all the success in the world. All the success in the world, Clive. Thank you for your support, man. Very generous. What does this say? Rodney Becker really wants to sell a chunk at 10K. Who is Robbie Beckner? Is that an XRP influencer? Bull Run is here. I like it. I like it, Jaden. Do you think you'd be able to buy XRP under $2 again? Ooh. Again? Maybe again, right? There's going to be some kind of black swan event or the bear market will happen, and investment will go away. And you might see it again. You probably just won't see it over the next few months. Listen, anything can happen. I think people see a pump and assume that, hey, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. I think people need to remember that summertime is usually a little bit slower time in the crypto industry. People are on vacation and doing things with their family and not really investing too much. We just got to see if it's going to be different this time. Do you Big Dog? Is this like the clothing brand Big Dog from like the 90s or something? My dad used to wear a lot of Big Dog stuff. He's a bigger guy. Let's see here. Circle Payments Network to rival Ripple. I mean, there's always going to be multiple winners. Is this the new thing, Rhino? See, Circle Payments Network to rival Ripple. Let's see if this is something new. Excuse me. Is this something new? Here you go. Wait, is this on a real website and not just one of these like, Crypto Times? Oh, CPN. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Wow, that was not helpful. Thrilled to unveil. Let's see here. Is the right screen? Okay, here. Let's take a look here. Let's take this down. Thrilled to officially unveil Circle Payments Network, also known as CPN, the next step towards reshaping how banks, PSPs, and VAS transact worldwide. CPN seamlessly connects financial institutions worldwide to orchestrate payments across borders, enabling 24/7 real-time settlement in stablecoins, USDC, and EURC. With a single integration, partners can access new payment corridors instantly while minimizing pre-funding and incredible capacity efficiency. Built with compliance and programmability at its core, CPN fuses the innovation of digital assets and blockchain with trust of global financial system. Stablecoins are just the beginning for Circle. I mean, got to make some moves if they want to stay relevant. Doesn't necessarily mean, it's good or bad for Ripple or XRP. There's going to be a lot of winners. I think people don't realize that the financial market is such a big market. When you're talking about $1 quadrillion, do you want all of that money on one network? It's probably not safe to keep all that money on one network. You want it across multiple interoperable networks. Seems like a great solution. Let's see here. Bruz, Crypto Sensei, I'm bullish on XRP. Been watching all your videos. However, what's your take? Oh, we're not going to talk about XCN, bro. I'm not going to talk about XCN. Sorry, Bruce. I only got one Rolex, man. I only got one Rolex. I don't go out very much. And so like I often will, set my watch and then it'll, stop working and then I have to reset it and it'll stop working. And, I don't go out much. So I just have one Rolex. Let's see here. It's better to have rich problems than poor problems. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. You can live in the tunnels in Vegas for free. Put the rest into XRP. I was like, is the tunnel some kind of like rare community or something? And I was like, oh, he's talking about underneath all the hotels. Yikes. What's wrong with your dog? Nothing wrong with my dog. At least I don't think so. Oh, maybe there is something wrong. Hold on. Can you see? Oh, you see her? Luna, come here. Here, let's get Luna. Let's get Luna. Hold on. She always likes to say hi. Come on. Come on. Oh, did you do something bad? What's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? You okay? Okay. Oh. Want to talk? Want to listen? With the ears? You okay? You want to say hi? Yes? You've been good? This is Luna. She's a Yorkie. Yes, you are a Yorkie. She's so good, right? You've been getting into trouble out there? Yes? Uh-oh. Okay. She's so photogenic. Look. Oh, she's so cute. Are you looking at yourself, Luna? Oh, there you go. Luna's getting good treats. Luna always gets good treats. All right. Have I been to Dubai? I haven't been to Dubai. I've always wanted to go, though. Yeah, well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there soon. Luna looks new to crypto. She is new to crypto. Definitely is new crypto. Luna Classic. Yeah, it wasn't the reason we named her Luna, though. Yeah, she's a good one, right? Yes. Okay. Can you go lay back down and we'll be finished soon here, my love? We're almost done. All right, let's we're hour and 23 minutes in. I got a little bit more news I'd like to go over with you guys if you're okay with that. We do have 24 people here. We could try to set the record if you guys are interested. If you want to set the record of most people in a Sensei chat, right? We're going to need to get another 500 people in here, which won't be too hard, but I need you to do something for me. 1,752 of you are watching on Twitter. If 10% of you decided to share the space on Twitter, that could be what sends us over the 3,000 mark. So if you're on YouTube, hit like. If you're on Twitter, please share the space. Have friends, family come join in as I go through some more news here. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. All right. So we went through all of this financial data earlier in the chat. I thought this was such an interesting table about how much money is created and how long it took. Check this out. The first $1 trillion for the US to print was 199 years. And then the second trillion took 8 more years. The third trillion took 6 more years. 4 trillion took another 8, 4, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. Look at this. 16 trillion, 6 months, 17 trillion, 5 months, 18 trillion. See how it's getting smaller and smaller? If we don't watch out, we're going to be we're already kind of buried in debt. Here is Mr. Wonderful talking about the relationship between China and the US. There you go. All right. And this is, people were asking kind of like, why is the market pumping a bit? This was a good sign here when Trump admitted that he has no intention of trying to fire Jerome Powell. He can't fire Jerome Powell, but he says that he has no intention to try to fire him. Let me play this. You know what the crazy part of all of this was? It would have been a really good time to lower interest rates. Like March, you saw inflation tick down to about 2.6%. If we kept on that trajectory, we actually would have probably be lowering rates by now. With all of this tariff stuff, it really makes it difficult for the Fed to look out 60, 90 days and set policy for the US's financial system. And I think that's what you're seeing right now in the market. We don't know if we're going to go up or down. So we're just kind of having days where we're going $1.5 trillion up, and we're having days where we go $1.5 trillion backwards. So Trump can, himself can change America's, future. What we need to do is we need to start working with Canada and Mexico, our 2 strongest trading partners, and then work trade deals with some of the rest of these countries. But understand, it's not always going to be America needs to get the best deal, but we need to get a deal, I guess you'd say. You're never going to be able to negotiate with everybody to the best of your ability. All right. We talked about this. We talked about this. There's a few other things. Oh yeah, check this out. So Deutsche Bank put this together, and this is actually going back. I don't know when they put this together, but this is September 2018, and this goes to February 2025. The interesting part about this is it's already run out of the calendar, and the thing is $84 trillion wealth transfer for boomers to millennials and Gen Z is underway with mass tokenization in just 2 to 3 years out. When they put this out, this was already back here. We've already surpassed this. This only goes to February 2025. So we are really at that sweet spot that Deutsche Bank thought we would be in for tokenization of financial assets, which you're starting to see come on chain more and more every single day right now. And then you're going to have all of this new wealth going to a younger generation. Now, I think a lot of these, people that are anywhere from how old is it Gen? I don't know. Hold on. Let me see. Gen X. Let's see. How old do you need to be for Gen X? Let me see. I have no idea how young are these kids nowadays. Let's see. Oh wait, Gen X is Oh, that's my brother's generation. Okay. Sorry. I thought Gen X was some kind of newer generation. I think I'm a millennial. I don't need to pull it up. All right. More money is going to be going into younger people's hands, and that money might wind up going into the crypto market. I think this is what they were trying to say. I did want to show you guys this. Okay, listen, I get a little frustrated. Okay. And when I say I get a little frustrated is, you know, you have channels on Twitter that are so full of shit, I can't even see straight. And this is an example of being full of shit. Now, what I want to do is I want to play the clip, and I want to show you how you at home can check stuff like this, because there's a lot of new people and they might not know that thing, you know, how to do certain things. So I'm going to show you how to search for something to see if it's real or not. This is a valuable lesson for anybody in the crypto market. Check this out. First, let's listen to what the claim is. Binance predicts a price for XRP in the upcoming weeks of $600. Okay. So we understand that this guy is saying Binance says $600 XRP in the upcoming weeks. Now, if we go to this and we search Binance predicts XRP to 600. We just need to search that. And we can see, I fucking hate searching on here. Binance predicts XRP to 600 in coming weeks. Searching on Brave is so much more difficult than searching on freaking, what's it called? You know what? I'm pulling it up. Is this it? Hold on. If this is not it, it's not it. Okay. I need to pull it up on something else. Hold on. It's crazy. You can search the same exact things on a different browser and get exactly what you want. But if you search it on Brave, it's just like it's lost. Okay. Here it is. This is the article I wanted to talk to you about. Here it is. Okay. So we're matching it up, right? Binance reveals XRP's prediction targets $600. Okay. Just so you are aware, if you have an account on Binance, all right, anybody can post on Binance Square. It is not from Binance. It is a community place where everybody can post. Now, if you search the post, you would come to this right here. Okay. As you can see, this is a ad for the CFT token. All right. You can also see that Binance reveals XRP price prediction. It's all bullshit. If you take a look and you click on this person, right, it'll bring up their content. They're a content creator, right? This isn't somebody from Binance. It is a random person. Follow for more content, right? It's a random person. That's what really bugs me about some of these YouTube channels. And like, I tend to start blocking them, but you know, it's a good way for me to show you like what channels are full of shit and what channels are not. And it also allows me to show you how to search yourself to find out if something is real or not. Okay. All right. A few other things I want to talk to you about before we get out of here. One of them is unfortunately this, and I haven't heard anybody mention this today, which makes me believe not a lot of you know about this. So another lawsuit. This time, the Oregon AG files a lawsuit against Coinbase and calls XRP an unregistered security. Now, when I first read this, a 4-letter word came to my mind. I yelled it out loud, and then I calmed down and I read through the article. Basically goes on to say that, well, let me just read it to you. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield's lawsuit against Coinbase urges that XRP and other digital assets are unregistered securities. Rayfield sued U.S.-based publicly traded crypto exchange Coinbase for allegedly violating Oregon's securities laws. Now, what frustrates me is you just had a 4.5-year lawsuit with the federal government about XRP not being a security, and you have this dumbass out of Oregon, this attorney general that is way over his skis, and now he's trying to go after XRP and Coinbase. So what I need you to do, okay, this is what this sock puppet looks like, all right? If you live in Oregon, okay, you need to make your voices well known. Let me tell you how this is going to play out. If a company like Coinbase feels threatened by an overeager attorney general in a state where all of this has already been decided in a federal government, but wants to drag XRP through the mud again, you in that state of Oregon need to stand up and say something. Okay. If you don't stand up and say something, Coinbase might pull out of your market. And Coinbase might not be the only exchange. It starts with Coinbase and it ends with every exchange not being able to be used in a certain state. Because let me tell you, these exchanges would rather pull out of an entire state market than have to deal with headaches and jackasses like this. All right. I don't mean to be rude. I don't care what side of the aisle this guy is on, whether he's a Democrat or Republican. This is wrong. Okay. There are millions of people around the world that have sat through 4.5 years of a lawsuit that shouldn't have been brought to begin with. And now after all of that is said and done, before that is even all cleared up, this idiot comes out of left field and wants to attack your ability to buy crypto. That is wrong. I don't like this. It's not going to be the same if somebody like myself from Hawaii goes after Day Refill to tell him that he's an idiot and he shouldn't be doing this against, the people of Oregon. But only the people of Oregon can stand up and demand change, and that change is usually demanded at the ballot box. Okay. Remember, we don't need to yell and scream, but if we present facts and our argument that we should be allowed to buy and hold these, it is our decision, maybe we can take some power back. All right. But this is something that we're going to have to deal with. Rayfield sued USB. We talked about this Coinbase, blah, blah, blah. The Oregon Department of Justice said that the suit was part of an effort to fill what is described as a regulatory vacuum left by federal agencies. So this person is saying the reason that he is forced to do this is because of federal regulators aren't doing it themselves, which I don't understand that, because we just literally went through the thing. And hopefully a judge, will look at all of the data and information and realize that we just went through all this and drop this, but it is still something that we're going to have to deal with. And then here's Paul Grewal, who is I think he's the chief legal officer for Coinbase. He says XRP sold whatever. Basically, no matter your asset or project, Oregon AG Dan Rayfield has accused you of violating securities law and fleecing your token holders. It is why we notified about 560,000 Coinbase customers in Oregon about the unlawful action taken in their name. Man, do better. Fucking do better. This is just frustrating, people. All right. I don't want to end on a negative note, so let's go ahead and better understand Tony Edward. I want to come back and answer some of your questions too. We still have about 2,500 people hanging out, which is a really great day to be able to spend this time with you guys. What's driving XRP Ledger's rapid tokenization growth? Let's hear Jasmine Cooper from Head of Products at Ripple X. Let's see here. 1 minute and 7 seconds. Let's get it. No sound? No sound, really? We went through the whole chat and there's no sound on that clip? All right. I can't do anything about that if there's no sound. I do apologize. I don't know what we're doing wrong here. Do you have sound with this? Hold on. This is 100% proof banking clients are buying crypto. Can you hear this? Let me look at the chat. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Can you hear me though? At least can you hear me? I guess I won't play these last clips. If you can hear me, then you can't even hear me. Don't go chasing waterfall. Hold on. All right. Can you hear me now? We hear you. Okay. Well, I just reloaded. I reloaded this. Let's see if we can screen share and I can get this to play. 1 second here. I do apologize. I don't know why the sound gives out like that. I do apologize. Let me see if I can bring something up here. Okay, I'll look. If this doesn't work, I'll just answer your questions. Okay, let me try to play this. Let me try to play this.
Behind what Alessandro just said, and give quantifiable measures. How is it going so far? What are the takeaways? Sort of, do you have any metrics for us that you can share regarding, the volume, who are the users that are mostly using the services? I'm very curious, and I think everybody is very curious in the room.
Yeah, usually I have a slide and I can read it from there. So now I have to take it from this paper. Yeah, it's funny.
And make sure you have your pens and papers out so you can take notes.
So it's really funny because a few weeks ago, the University of Lucerne released a study about the typical average crypto investor in Switzerland. And they said this is a male, and it's around 20 years old, and he invests around 1,000 Swissy into a ticket to buy cryptos. After 6 months, we see it a little bit different. So our average crypto client is also male, but is much older, is between 30 and 50 years old. Okay. And the average ticket size is almost 15,000 Swissy. So we have much higher ticket sizes as expected, much higher ticket sizes as in our business case, which is very good. So what you see is that not only retail clients jump into this train, it's also clients from the private banking, and that was a big surprise because our private banking team said, "Oh no, our clients are not interested." So it's more from the retail side, and what we see now is, "Oh no, it's coming from the private banking side. Therefore, we have the higher ticket size."
Were you happy to prove them wrong?
Sorry?
Were you happy to prove the private bankers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Say,
absolutely.
I told you so.
But
all right. I want to go back to this clip that you couldn't hear the sound to begin with. This is what's driving XRP Ledger's rapid growth for tokenization. Let me play this. If you can't hear it, let me know down and we'll end it here and I'll just answer your questions.
So tokenization, is kind of the beginning of the life cycle for any sort of on-chain finance. So if you want to do stablecoin payments, you first need stablecoins. If you want to do real estate investment diversification, you first need an on-chain real estate token or something along those lines. So tokenization is really the beginning of everything when it comes to RWA and institutional DeFi. We're really just trying to increase the utility and lower barriers to entry for institutions. So one proposal we put out recently is called multi-purpose tokens. You can think of that along the lines of a semi-fungible token. That standard allows for developers and token issuers to attach metadata directly to the token object on chain versus the traditional or legacy fungible token on the XRP ledger. So by allowing a standalone object, this is better for, say, a bond where you want to store the terms and the duration, the interest rate on that on-chain object. So we're really trying to look at these use cases and make sure we have the building blocks and the standards to best support them and give a best-in-class experience when they bring TradFi onto blockchain.
All right. Really quickly, there's two things I want to go over before I answer your questions. Some people asked, I have a community called Cryptonaires. In that community, I post a lot of information about what I'm doing in the crypto space. You find out about it before I post on like my videos and content on YouTube or in the Sensei chats. I only do these chats twice a week where I'm in Cryptonaires at least 5-6 days a week, answering questions and posting news and information. So if you want to follow along and take the crypto journey to another step, you want to get into a community where you can ask questions, learn and grow with other people who are like you, you can sign up for Cryptonaires today, wap.com/Cryptonaires. We would love to have you as part of the community. If you want to come in, take a look at what we offer, please take a look at that. All right. Another thing too is, some people have been asking me in the comments about Moonacy. I do want to go over a few things here before I start answering your questions. One of them is any product like this, just really quickly, right? I think people understand that if you deposit enough money into a platform and you are in, like, let's say the United States, there is going to be some rules that come along with KYC, right? If you get past a certain point, right? I think there's been a lot of people trying to figure out how to generate income. Anytime you have protocols like this, I always like to go with a very small amount first. You can start with like $100, but I was able to actually earn some extra, crypto, and I was able to cash it out. And so, they have Crypto News, Binance, TradingView, and a bunch of others. If you're interested in providing liquidity, you can take a look at Munacy today. I just always recommend people to start out with something pretty low. And then if you want to get to that, go to that. All right. I'm here. No sound again? Seriously? No sound? If there's no sound, I'm just going to go sit on my couch and watch some Closer. We can hear you. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer questions now. We'll do about like 15 minutes of questions. All right. What questions you guys have? You can hear me. I love everyone paying attention. All right. What you guys got? They're winding you up. Fuck. It's easy to do, obviously, somebody said I need a lighting expert. Yes, I do. I bought a new camera. I bought a bunch of like lights and all of these things. I'm trying to like figure out how to do all this stuff. All right. I will pay somebody cash money to come and do it all for me, but it's been difficult to find that person. So if you know somebody in Hawaii that is a photographer or knows about lighting, my email is in the description. Reach out to me, please. All right. Sound is good. Appreciate you, Jose. Thank you, brother. Lonzo, what's up, man? Good to have you here. The camera shake is about to give us epilepsy seizure. That's because I shake my desk and it's attached to my computer. That's why. Sorry. What is the seal painting? That is a seal painting. This used to be like right here, right? Oh, right here. I lost my whiteboard. So the seal will be back. All right. Just understand the seal hasn't been harmed. The seal's getting 3 meals a day. The seal's alive, well, and happy. All right. Thanks, guys. All right, let's see here. What other places are good to buy crypto besides Coinbase? Hey, Kim, that's a great question. Great to see you again, Kim. It depends where you are in the world, right? What do you have access to? I know people, in America, like Uphold and I don't know, where do people trade in America? I like Coinbase is easy for me to on and off ramp, but it does have some higher fees because it's a brokerage. But like I can use MEXC with my Palau ID. I can use KuCoin with my Palau ID. I have no problem there. I don't leave money on MEXC. I don't leave money on KuCoin, but I can trade either one of those places. I think there's a few places like, what's interesting, like over the last few months, I've had almost every exchange reach out to me. I've had Coinbase reach out to me. I've had Gemini reach out to me. MEXC, Gate.io, you name it, of exchanges. I've had them reach out to me. Anyway, who painted the seal? The seal was a Christmas present for my wife. I think she got it maybe from Etsy. It's not like an inside joke. It's an inside like my family thing. Here. The seal picture is because of this seal right there. That's baby seal. All right. If you don't know baby seal was a gift from my wife when I was going through some challenging times in my life with surgery and recovery and just very difficult time that it was very hard to get out of bed. It was just, I was heading the wrong way in life with my health. And that kind of brought me back. And so whenever I'm having a really bad day, or if I'm getting kind of emotional, my wife will grab the seal and she'll put it on me and it will calm me down. It's got a calming effect. And so she got the painting just as kind of like, I like seals. And so she got the painting. All right, there you go. That's all the inside stuff you're getting from me. Chris is in Hawaii. Chris, you need to reach out to me if you know anything about what's it called. I brace my desk. Yeah, see, like Ham, some people are pretty amazing with, bracing things and setting things up. I am not one of those one of those people. Like all the stuff that gets like hung on the walls in my house. My wife like fixed the vacuum. Without her, I'd be lost at sea. So glad she can help with all that stuff. Are you selling an XRP early? Not really, Ryan. No, I like. What would be the point, right? Like, I believe XRP, if I wait long enough, is my chance to financial freedom, right? Whether I sell some XRP at the top of the market and buy back when it goes, back into the bear market, whether I can time that right, or if I do that, or I just keep buying when I can, right? This is not a, hey, Robert, you're turning 100,000 into 200,000. Let's go retire, right? I need to turn 100,000 into, 10 million, 100 million, 50 million. How am I going to do that? Well, pick a technology, hold on, and pray that you got the right one. That is the crypto market. Telcoin and Nebraska banks. Have you heard of it? I've heard of Telcoin. Telcoin was around in the last cycle. I know they're making a lot of headway in the banking system. I don't own any, but I do know the name. Who painted the seal? I think we talked about that. I'm going to have my wife come on here. I'm here for the seal. You know what's funny? You're not the only person that's mentioned the seal today. I've gotten a bunch of comments, and trust me, I miss them too. I'm trying to think. I could get creative here. I have an unhooked PlayStation 5 in the corner I could put it on top of, or I have a empty alcohol cart over here that we don't use that I could put the seal on top of for the meantime. I know. I have a kind of a boring office. Sensei, how do we utilize XRP when dealing with a bank or credit union? So Maverick, your bank or credit union right now is not going to take XRP. They're going to take US dollars. Okay. Now in the future, your bank, I don't know what bank it is. They might allow crypto custody, and they might allow, if they're custodying a particular crypto asset. I'm sure banks will start with like XRP. So, XRP. Oh, excuse me. I'm sure banks will start with like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. Like they'll start with two or three. And once you, because people's relationships, right, with banks can go back decades. Like normally, if you're at a bank for a while, you've gone to them for a car loan or a home loan or a student loan, right? You have a relationship. You might know somebody at the bank you're close with that helps you with your accounts, right? And so they're going to say, hey, you have all of these accounts with us. What about your crypto? We will charge you, $100 a year, or so, I don't know what they're going to charge, but they're going to say, we'll custody your crypto for you, and they'll give you, where you can transfer the crypto into your bank account and you can have it secure in your bank. I'd imagine once they do that, they're probably going to have on and off ramps inside of the bank to buy and sell crypto. Okay. So you might be able to transfer your XRP to a bank, and then you could sell that XRP at the bank into US dollar and then take the US dollar. Now, I think that's a little bit more futuristic. Like today, if you woke up and XRP was at $5 or $10 or something, that you're like, oh, this is where I wanted it to be. I want to sell all my XRP or whatever it is that whatever your plan is, right? Example, you have 5,000 XRP hits $10, you sell all of it, right? Then you sell it into something, whether it's USDT, USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you're probably selling it into a stable coin. Once you get it into a stable coin, then you can take the stable coin to an exchange and you can sell it into US dollars, and then you can put the US dollars in your bank account. Hope that explains. No seal has been harmed with the making of these videos. Absolutely. Will suing Coinbase affect XRP price for years? I don't think so, Dominic. I don't think so. I think a judge is going to look at the federal case and say, hey, we've already litigated this, you know. I'm sure Ripple and Coinbase's lawyers are very well equipped in dealing with the government, whether it's state or federal. And I gotta think that we've already litigated this at the highest courts in our country. And if the higher courts set precedent, it doesn't make sense that a lower court, state court or a state AG can come and just put a wrecking ball to this whole thing. So I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think it'll have a profound impact, but we don't know what this guy's going to do. Okay. A lot of you guys like Uphold, a lot of you guys are like Kraken, I'm seeing. OKX good in the US? I don't know. Is OKX good in the US, guys? Anybody know? Austin, I only put a few $1,000 in, about $3 or $4 grand, and I was able to pull all of that money out. Okay. I've been hearing good things about Pure Wallet. Never heard of Pure Wallet. Best of luck. I don't know what that is. And another thing too, guys, like, I don't understand why people decide to use wallets that are not well known. Okay. Wallet security is very important. And some of these wallets have taken years to build and put together. And if you're starting to use a brand new wallet that's nobody's heard of, that's pretty risky. Like, you could use a Ledger or a Treasure or a Coinbase wallet or a MetaMask. Like, why are you using some random name nobody's heard of? I don't know. I've never heard of it. I've never had anyone ask me about it. Just be careful. In Israel, is Israel going to allow our government to really embrace crypto? Oh man, I wish I could tell you. Maybe somebody in the community knows. Give the seal a fish orange white eyes seal for me, please. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Knowledge Seeker, good to see you, bud. Thanks for being here. We went over a lot today, man. We got a lot of people here hanging out. Kingdom, great to see you, man. Thanks for being here. What's up? Christopher Green of AMTV is in Hawaii. I have no idea who Christopher Green is. Is he going to help me with my cameras and stuff? Oh man, I'd love that. I would love that. Are you selling any XRP early or holding it forever? Forever is a long time, right? Not holding forever. Everybody has a different plan. And, everyone's plan suits what they want to do in life. Like, some people, are never going to sell their XRP. They're going to go and take loans out against their XRP, and some people are going to cash the fuck in and say peace. If XRP reaches a high enough value and I can cash in 50 million, 100 million or more, I might just sell it all and be gone. Hard to say what I'm going to do, man. It really is. Like, I can say I'm going to go do all these things, but if XRP really goes and you are facing the thing where you could turn, 1,000 XRP into $1 million and you have 50,000, 100,000 XRP, some people are going to hit that sell button, baby, and peaced out. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard time. It was a hard time. It was a hard time in my life. I didn't think I was going to come out of that. I went from like 180 pounds, 185 pounds to 128 pounds. And it was a very challenging time in my life. And, support of my family, the support of that seal, that's what got me out of that. And it just shows you, like, the smallest things can make an impact on your overall mental health and your ability to come back from something. And I think that speaks larger to humans in general, right? We go through challenges and we go through all of these different things that happen in our lives that kind of make us who we are. And those things kind of define us in our personalities and the way that we treat others or the way that we are seen. It's just one of those things that it's either going to get through it or it's going to kill you. That was my two options. And I got through it. I wasn't able, no, Rodney, I wasn't able to serve in the military. I can't serve police force, military, anything. There's a few things wrong with me. One, I can't turn my arm over. This arm doesn't turn over. So I couldn't hold a gun properly. And I've had just a ton of surgery. I have scars. I don't know if you can see that. I have scars here. I have scars here. I have scars all over my left side. I've had a lot of surgery and I can't stand up for a very long time. Walking like half mile, walking a full mile is difficult for me because of my my issues. I have bone spurs, bone issues, mostly. All right, cool. Oh, Saul, I appreciate that. You're so kind. What is my exit price, John? As much as we can, brother. As much as we can. I don't know, man. It's tough to say. It's going to come down to how much XRP I have. I'm still buying it. Like, my somebody in my family, just sold one of their houses, and I was like, hey, buy some XRP. What are you doing? It just depends like how much we can gather. I'm buying it. My dad's buying it. I don't know if my sister's buying it, but a lot of people in my family are buying it. You can hear me? That's great, man. Gen X is the forgotten generation. Is Gen X is I think here, I think we looked this up. Hold on one second. Hold on. Gen X. Let me see. What is Gen X? Gen X, 65 to 1980. If you're born between 1965 and 1980, you are Gen X. That's my brother's generation, my sister's generation. Yes, I am with you. I hear you. Most banks use Plaid. Absolutely. Let me see here, man. You guys, I gotta catch up. To these comments. Crypto Sensei, what was your friend's taco place in Los Altos? Okay, yeah, Ricardo. Hey, man, Gaston, you got a good memory. God, let's see if we could find this. I can't. Like, this was like high school, man. This is 20 something years ago, and my memory is not all that good unless I'm learning something recently. Los Altos. Hold on, let me pull it. Downtown Los Altos. I don't even know if it's there. I know he was trying to sell it way back in the day, but let me see if I can do. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up a map. Oh God, where am I? It's been so long since I was in California. One second here. So where's 85? Is this 85? I think this is 85, right? I don't even know where downtown Los Altos is on here. It's like the little town Los Altos. Like, hold on. Foothill Expressway. I'm so bad with this. Hold on. This is too far. God, I'm trying to remember here, man. I don't know. I'll have to put some thought into that. Get at me next time. I can't. For the life of me, I can't remember. I do apologize. Do you still think BNB will 5x? The problem with that is, like, who is buying or who is in the BNB ecosystem? Like, ask yourself this. What cool project is launched in the BNB sector recently? I don't know if I have something against BNB or I have something against BNB, but like, CZ, was the founder and leader of Binance as they were doing all of this illegal activity, right? Yes, he's getting a pardon from Trump and millions of dollars will allow you to do that, but he's still guilty. And, I think people, businesses, corporations stay away from Binance. My personal feeling. I don't know. I think Cardano is going to run way better than Binance. Like Sui, Cardano, XRP, I think all of those will outperform BNB. That's my personal feeling. You're Gen X here. We got a lot of Gen Xers. You know, the people that most watch my channel are age 35 to 55. 35 to 55 is over half the channel. And then it's like 26% is 35 to 45, and then 26 is 45 to 55. And then I think it's a little bit less with like 55 to 65, and then smaller like 25 to 35. I think I'd have to take a look at the demographics, but I just think the way I talk and like when I remember things and bring them up, I think people closer to my age experience those things. And I think people that maybe are a little bit younger generation go with like the Mickles of the world and things like that. Hey, we're not going with my generation's better than your generation. You know, we've all gone through our shit, right? We've all gone through our stuff. And let's all be thankful we're here with each other. We all have the same type of goals here, right? I like this where we are. Let's see here. I made so much money on the tariffs. Smart move by Trump. Sure. Okay. Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. I still think maybe it's like 420 some places, here in the world. I just don't know where. I think people can become so wrapped up in something and just not be able to see like common sense sometimes. And I don't know, man. Clowns and scammers love BNB. Yeah, I just don't know. I deal with a lot of projects and founders and the community asking me questions, and there was a project that I bought into on BNB, like a node project, very, very risky project. They stopped the BNB version to move over to Solana, right? So like that should tell you right there. They just launched on BNB like 2 weeks ago, and volume was so bad, they shut down the BNB to move to Solana. It's not a very good look, man. It's not a very good look. What do I like about XRP or Ripple? I mean, like, I think the most impactful thing people don't really take into consideration is Ripple's marketing team. I love when people say like Ripple pays me to talk about them too. I was like, I wish, like, hey, how much money would you pay me to keep doing what I'm doing? Like, can I get some extra money? The crypto market, right? Whether you're, if you're a Web2 company or you're a bank and you're looking to get into the crypto market, all right, you're going to have a list. Whoever, is your, CTO, chief technology officer, they're going to come up with a list. Okay. A list of companies that your bank is going to talk with, right? Whether it's for custody or stable coins or FX, right? One of those solutions or all of those solutions your bank is going to need over the next few years. Okay. So what happens? You make a list and you start calling, you start having meetings with companies. And since Ripple has one of the most aggressive and I don't know where you can go in the world today other than maybe like a few places like Iran or Iraq or some, places like that, Ripple is not really well known, right? Africa, UAE, Singapore, right? All over Europe, America, Canada, Mexico, South America, like Ripple has its fingerprints on all of it. And I think, as they're never going to capture all the business, but they're going to have a shot at the business, in my personal opinion. And that is one of the reasons that I think people are sleeping on Ripple's ability to get in front of businesses and close deals. Like they are good at that. And they're very surgical in what they do. They don't try to do too many things at once. They get into a certain area of the crypto market and they master that area. They're very surgical. I think you've heard me say many times in videos. I think there's just a lot of really good things that they can bring to the table. I think it's very early still to pick the winners. right? But if you're looking at central bank digital currency, if you're looking at FX, if you're looking at stable coins, I mean, you better believe Ripple is going to be on a lot of those banks' minds. And you know, if Ripple can come in and offer each one of these solutions that your bank needs, and you can just work with one company rather than working with 3 or 4 different companies to bring all those solutions into your bank, that might be even easier for your company to, you know, to get all on the same system or blockchain or node or whatever it is. So I hope that was helpful. I know I kind of veered off there, but I think there's a lot of valuable insights that we can get from that. 10% Luna friends, 2% seals. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see here. XRP 2000 tomorrow, 6 a.m. I think there's a lot of people here that would really love that. A lot of people here. 420 at my brother's place. It's been a great day. 30K profits. Jordan Davis. Strong, man. Flex it. 30K profits in a day, man. You're doing something right. I like it. I like to hear that. Later, Justin. Yeah, we're going to be shutting down here in a second. You know, it's been a really great day. Appreciate everybody's support. I'd really like it if you guys could thank Ariana, and we thank Curtis and everyone else that's been keeping the chat safe these past 2 hours. We're going to have another live discussion on Friday at 3:30 PST. I hope you can join us for that. We still have 2,500 people watching. I just want to say I appreciate your support. I appreciate your love. I appreciate you spending the time to get educated, and it is a complete honor to learn and grow with you every day. And I hope we can keep doing that. All right. Have a fantastic rest of your week, guys. Really kill it out there. And I'll see you Friday with some fresh news and some fresh ideas. All right. Peace out. All right.